the crowded streets of Nairobi, where life moves fast and survival is everything, there was a time when one name could empty an entire street in seconds. Gaza, not a war zone overseas, but a gang born in the heart of the city. The gang's roots trace back to the densely populated estates of Kayole and Dandora, areas known for overcrowding, unemployment, and limited opportunities. At first, Gaza wasn't the most powerful group, just another cluster of young men trying to survive through crime. But they had something others didn't, a reputation they wanted to build through fear. They began with muggings, snatching phones, stealing wallets, targeting anyone walking alone. But unlike typical street thieves, Gaza didn't just rob, they punished. Victims who resisted were beaten brutally, sometimes in groups, sometimes in public. As a message to others, fear spread quickly. As the gang grew, so did their methods. They began operating in coordinated units, blocking roads, surrounding victims, and attacking within seconds. Some attacks happened in broad daylight, others in the darkness of narrow alleys where escape was impossible. Residents reported patterns, groups lying in wait near footpaths, sudden ambushes on commuters returning home, violent robberies where victims were left seriously injured. Some victims lost everything: phones, money, even their clothes. Others were hospitalized after resisting. The goal wasn't just theft anymore, it was control. Then Gaza moved beyond random attacks. They started controlling territories. Small business owners, kiosk operators, boda riders, street vendors were forced to pay protection fees. Those who refused faced consequences. Shops were vandalized, workers were attacked. Some people were forced to close their businesses entirely. Entire streets became no-go zones at night. Parents warned their children not to stay out late. Workers rushed home before sunset. The gang had achieved something dangerous. They had turned fear into power. At the height of their activity, Gaza was linked to some of the most disturbing street violence in these neighborhoods. Witnesses described victims attacked by multiple gang members at once, people beaten severely for resisting robbery, nighttime ambushes where individuals were left unconscious. In some reported cases, attacks escalated beyond robbery, turning into violent assaults that shocked entire communities. The randomness made it worse. There was no profile, no warning. Anyone could be targeted. Students, workers, even residents just stepping out briefly. And that unpredictability made the fear constant. Eventually, the fear turned into anger. Residents began organizing. Vigilante groups emerged, young men from the same neighborhoods, determined to push Gaza out. Clashes followed. Violence met violence. Some nights turned into battlegrounds between gangs and locals. But this came at a cost: more injuries, more instability. The line between protection and chaos became blurred. The situation forced action from the Kenya Police Service. Operations were launched in affected areas. Night patrols increased. Suspected gang members were arrested. Raids targeted known hideouts. In some confrontations, suspects were killed. Others disappeared from the streets. For a while, the gang's visibility dropped, but the problem didn't fully disappear, because the conditions that created Gaza were still there. Behind the violence was a deeper story. Most Gaza members were not career criminals from the start. They were young men, many unemployed, some barely out of school, drawn into crime by poverty, peer pressure, lack of opportunity, the promise of fast money. For some, joining Gaza meant survival. For others, it became a trap they couldn't escape. Today, parts of Nairobi are quieter than before. The name Gaza doesn't dominate headlines like it once did, but the memory remains, a reminder of how quickly crime can grow, how fear can take over communities, and how difficult it is to break that cycle. Because Gaza was never just a gang. It was a symptom of inequality, of neglect, and of a system that left too many young people with nothing to lose.